your head up, you ain't gon' believe this. It's your boy Squint talking that shit. Go and tell him what it is. Just a man and his podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. One by one, or it's a tag match. Either way for me, cause I'ma make a bloodbath. TST, make you see stars when I throw hands. Keep on spitting bars after bars, like a cage, man. I'ma get the Hardy Boys off the ropes, make it rain, man. You ain't seen a goddamn thing. You get it? You keep on talking shit and the referee count your digits. That's that 1, 2, 3. When he finally get up, he can't say his fucking A-B.
What's up, you guys? It's your boy Squints here with a very special guest on another episode of Maintenance Podcast. Go and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Victor Analog, coming to you in living Technicolor on Squints' iPhone right there.
Yeah, on my iPhone, I don't have anything too fancy. We're using a tripod, $20 microphone.
Got this sweet microphone. I don't have these.
Yeah. So we're here right before Circus Maximus, and the first question I always ask anyone is, what does Anarchy Atmosphere mean to you?
So Anarchy Atmosphere to me is something I've kind of stewed on a little bit in my search for like a home in wrestling, you know? Because I came straight out of training, got evicted from my apartment, and was pushed out of the world of wrestling on my own to kind of figure things out in my own time. And I found Anarchy, admittedly probably too late in my wrestling career, making up for lost time now. But it's this idea, this motif of home. You know, like home is not like a place, it's a feeling. Just like the atmosphere is more like, not like what exists in the building, but like the people in the building. You know, they make the atmosphere. The building is whatever. Like home is where the heart is, right? And the heart goes where the people go. You know, if that makes sense? I don't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your first Anarchy match wasn't at Spalding, was it?
My first main card match was not here at Spalding. My first match in Anarchy, pre-show wise, I guess, was like a scramble, a 6-person scramble, Circus Maximus 2019, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. My first main card match would have been in Granite City, but it's like that same like idea of home, right? Like the building doesn't have to be home as long as the people are there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what did it feel like your first match being inside of Spalding? What was that like? Because I know this is like a destination for a lot of wrestlers just because of the building itself. What did it feel like walking through that curtain for the first time?
Right. It was validating. Like everyone works towards different goals, and I made Anarchy a destination for me. This is where I wanted to be. So it was very, very validating in just a word. So
you mentioned goals. What are some other, not so major goals, but like some goals that aren't as broad for Victor Analog?
So I guess everyone's goal is to kind of make it in their own words, right? Like everyone's definition of making it is different. I guess mine is to sustain myself off of wrestling while also being fulfilled by wrestling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So your entrance, now the TV's broken, but you come out with a monitor on your head.
Yes.
How did that come about?
That was an amalgamation of several ideas with the goal eventually being just standing out. I was maybe 2 years into my career, spinning my wheels at the same company once a month, and I was like, I hate it here. I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm doing anything.
Yeah.
So I just kind of started throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck. I started out with just trying out different like entrance jackets. And I eventually landed on this one that had a bunch of like scrambled color test patterns on it, right?
Yeah.
And there was something there. I felt like there was a look kind of like brewing. Like I had like the jacket, entered with the button-up shirt, bow tie. There was something there, but I was missing that certain je ne sais quoi, you know? Mm-hmm. I watched a documentary about animation not long after that.
Yeah.
And it said something along the lines of the most iconic cartoon characters are the ones where you can recognize them by their silhouette.
Yeah.
You know, like Bart Simpson, Bugs Bunny, stuff like that. And I was like, how could I make that translate to wrestling? Because you think about like recognizable silhouettes in wrestling, you've got like The Undertaker, and that's it, right? Hi, Gary. We're doing a podcast, Gary. You recognize Gary by his silhouette, right? But like who else, right? So I was kind of drawing at work one day, and I drew like myself with like the jacket, tights, just kind of workshopping looks, and I was like, huh. And I just drew the square over it, and I was like, that's cool, that's something, that's different. How do I make that practical?
Yeah.
You know?
So you mentioned cartoons. What is Victor Analog's favorite cartoon?
Oh, goodness.
You can just give off three, because I know number one is just probably very hard to narrow down.
Top three. Okay, if I got to name top three cartoons right now. So if we're talking like my supervillain origin story, I was raised on cable television because my parents weren't around a lot. So it's going to be hard to narrow down just one. So I'm glad you asked for a top three.
Yeah.
King of the Hill is my comfort show.
Oh.
So I'll say King of the Hill. First three seasons of SpongeBob SquarePants and Ren and Stimpy all kind of molded my sense of humor in a twisted sort of way.
Those are all three very good cartoons. SpongeBob's probably up there for me. So now my next question, because I'm glad you mentioned SpongeBob because I can talk hours on him. What's your favorite SpongeBob episode?
Oh, that's hard.
You can throw a few out also.
No. I think Dying for Pie.
Yeah.
When Mr. Krabs mandates the employee brotherhood day, and Squidward eventually learns his lesson by disingenuously buying this pie that he thinks is going to blow him up, and SpongeBob is well-intentioned the whole time, and he learns his lesson from it.
So, one of my favorite episodes of SpongeBob, it's a very stress-inducing episode, but it's the one where they go through like different time frames. I think like that one part of the episode they're in the medieval times, next part they're in what's it called? Another one is I just recently watched was the Friend or Foe episode, because I remember being in third grade, once I sitting there doing homework, rushing through homework to be able to watch that episode.
Was Gary banging chairs around when you were in the third grade, Squints?
You can get in the camera, Klein. You can make your podcast debut.
Fuck you, Squint.
There we go. So, while we're on the topic of Anarchy, or not anymore, but we were talking about it, what's your opinion on Jason Klein?
Klein's great. I love him and all of his opinions on wrestling.
So, wrestling's very subjective, obviously. How do you deal with the fans that are, I guess, should say, over the top when they're opinionated? Have you ever had like a fan heckle your matches too much? And how do you go about it? Like, how do you overcome it, I guess?
It's funny you mention that because I tell this story anytime that anyone asks me what my worst match is that I've ever had. But there's one specific example. It is a company in Central Illinois in like 2017. They're not around anymore, thankfully. But I'm over-the-top bad guy, booked against another over-the-top bad guy, and I don't want to talk too much inside baseball here, but you don't book matches like that because nobody comes out better for it, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the part of the match where like I'm the smaller guy, I'm getting my ass beat, and this is the part of the match where traditionally I would make my comeback, right?
Mm-hmm.
So bump the guy, turn it around, big move, climb the top rope because I had a sweet elbow drop that I like to hit at the end of my comeback. And I'm just looking around at the people, and I'm like a year and a half into my career, and I don't know any better. This is a bad spot to be in. So on instinct, I just look at the 15 people there, and I say, come on. And this old man looks up from his phone, and he just stares at me. Well, come on. And I could have fucking quit the business and went home and never came back right then and there. But the best trick for that is just don't react to it, but think about why it happened and how you make it not happen again.
All right. So you mentioned that was your worst match. Well, in your opinion, what's the best match you've had? Not in ring-wise, but like coming out of it and just being like, wow, I did a really good job with the crowd, with like everything. You understand what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah. If I had to pick a favorite match, maybe Actually, it was about a year ago around this time at 01 USA. I was the defending junior heavyweight champion, and I knew for a while that the writing was kind of on the wall with this one, but a big match with Warhorse.
Mm-hmm.
In the main event, they voted their match of the year, and we were supposed to have 3 matches, and we were kind of holding back on that first one because we knew that there was 2 more coming like down the pike.
Mm-hmm.
Those matches ended up not happening, but this match was still their match of the year, and I think it was the one that I learned maybe the most from, like from an in-ring standpoint, like how to engage the people and be like engaged in the match itself, like in a main event scenario.
Yeah. So this next question, I usually have a spin on it differently, but I'm doing it this time a different way. Usually I ask if you could choose one Jersey Shore character to be a tag team partner, who would it be? But I feel like since we talked about cartoons, I'm going to ask if you could choose one cartoon character, who would it be to be your tag team partner for one match?
Oh, goodness.
And let's say they all have proper training.
Yeah, exactly. That's a tough one.
Or even if you could choose like 2 for a 6-man tag or 3 for a 4-man tag, just to help you answer it. Because I know just choosing one could be very difficult.
I would choose Eric Cartman.
For what? For why?
For a tag team partner.
Okay.
Because I feel like we could accomplish any underhanded trick in the book to pull out a win.
All right, that's a good one. I was not expecting that at all. That's actually a good answer. And then this last question I ask everybody: if you could give a piece of advice to anyone, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be related to wrestling. It can just be any advice ever.
This goes for wrestling and just life in general. Just try new things. Like, if I had all the right answers right now, I'd be sitting in a different room. I'd be booked on a different show. I'd be making a lot more money. But just try new things. Because the only thing that experience is going to teach you is what not to do.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Is there anything you would like to plug? Merch, upcoming shows, social media, stuff to that nature?
You can follow me at Color Test VA, color spelled with a U, on all of the socials. ProWrestlingTees.com/colortestva, and be good to people.
All right. I'll make sure to put all those in the description down below. Thank you for coming on. We were supposed to do this. I retweeted the tweet and it said like in June. I said at the end of the month, and we're at July now. So
that's okay. Here we are.
We finally did it. Thank you for coming on. That's going to do it for this episode, guys. You can leave a thumbs up, a thumbs down, 1 star, 5 stars, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun shit. Or don't. I don't care.